So, hi, my name is Mike Gehard, yet again. I also work at Pivotal Labs. And Sandy kind of started to talk about this idea in her talk about standing on the shoulders of giants. And I'm going to push that along a little bit and maybe create some questions, some conversations, some rotten vegetables might be thrown, and we'll see what happens. So, go back, 1994. A book is written called Design Patterns. How many people have read the Design Patterns book? How many people use design patterns? How many people use design patterns before they're needed? Awesome. 23 patterns. There they all are. So you have creational patterns, structural patterns, behavioral patterns, a whole list of cool stuff. Oh, look. Sandy talked about the factory method, 1994. Nothing new here. These guys were talking about it. And thank you to the C++ community for coming up with that information and codifying this information for us. Flash forward to 1999. We have another great book. How many people read the Refactoring book? The rest of you should go buy a copy of this and start reading it, please. 93 refactorings. There they all are. Hey, look what I found. Oh, extract methods. So as Ben was moving stuff around within his class yesterday, he was extracting methods and naming them. Oh, look, introduce nil object. We've seen that before. So Ben did that in one of his talks. I have this thing that responds to messages in a null way. Thank you to the Java community for that information. Flash forward to 2004. So we see a pattern here. It's like every 5 years, there's this thing. And I have 3 data points, so I'm going to go, that's a straight line. We have another great book, Refactoring to Patterns. How many people have a copy of this? You should definitely buy a copy of this. I actually think this book is better than the refactoring book, and I'll show you why. 27 refactorings, 2 design patterns. So I don't have a design pattern then a refactoring. I have bad code, design pattern I want to get to, and a way to get there. He goes through amazing steps with this, using the refactorings from Fowler's book. There they all are. Oh, look what I found. Introduce null object. Introduce polymorphic creation with factory method. Oh, look, replace conditional logic with strategy. So when Sandy went in her talk and created this calculator thing, she replaced conditional logic with a strategy pattern. I have a thing that calculates for me. I inject those with polymorphic creation, and then I have a null object. Guess what? Thank you to the C++ and Java communities for that one too. So this combination, these communities playing off one another, design patterns from the C++ guys, refactorings from the Java guys, and then they come together and do this. So what have we done as a Ruby community? So we have a great framework, Ruby and Rails. I love Mats. I love the language. I feel we're lacking in some of this stuff. You know, we're having these discussions again about these design patterns, about these refactorings. We've had 4 talks that I count. So Sandy talked about them, Ben talked about them, Justin talked about them, Shafan talked about them. We're talking about this stuff yet again. So what I'm going to challenge all of you to do is learn from the past so we can shape the future. So I'm going to leave you to chew on that for a while. Is there any questions, concerns, rotten vegetables? Yes, sir. No, that was 2004. We're behind. Yeah, we're 3 years overdue. So they're all great books. You should all have a copy. I highly recommend the Domain-Driven Design book that Stefan mentioned at his talk, another great book that was written 2000-ish. Cool, thanks.